welcoming and welcome special Islands Tech Sports Talk. I'm your host, and joining me are the head coach of the Bermuda Archers, as well as Cameron, Bernard Wade, Ross Roberts, and Jaden Roberts. First of all, gentlemen, good evening, and thank you very much for taking the time to kind of bring people up to speed on where you guys have been, what you've been doing, and let me just say congratulations on solidifying Bermuda a spot in the CAC games for next year. So, Ross, give us a bit of where we were just prior to the pandemic. You like everybody else have struggled with the COVID conditions and so forth, but didn't manage to go to the Junior Pan Ams, and now you've qualified a spot. So can you bring us up to speed post COVID?
Okay. Good evening, Earl. Good evening, Bermuda. Basically, what we've been up to, it's been a busy year, and it's going to get even busier. So we've just returned a couple of weeks ago from Puerto Rico to take part in the Puerto Rico Cup, and also there was a chance there as a CAC qualifier. So we had the three archers that went on, Cameron, Bernard, and Jaden, myself, and had a really good time, really good result. As you say, we did secure a spot for CAC games, and we're looking to go in September again to DR to try and secure a spot for the whole team. So since we've been back, we've been in contact with Road Archery. Road Archery has arranged a coach from their staff to come down to Bermuda, and we're just finalizing the dates on that. It looks like it's going to be sometime around mid-May to come down and work with the archers to try and get them ready for the next event that they'll be going to. The next event would be Colombia, and that would be stage 4 of the World Archery series. Stage 1, 2, and 3 is over in Europe, so it's sort of far away from us, and we're going to miss stage 1, 2, and 3 because of how far it is away and how expensive it is. So Colombia is going to be the closest one to us, and we will be taking part in that one in July. So
let me jump to you because this was kind of grown on you. You've come of age rather quickly. What are some of the things you worked with after being introduced to it that you've come so far in leaps and bounds?
Earl, could you just repeat that? You're breaking up a bit.
yeah.
Okay. Can you explain, how you got involved in this particular sport? Because, when you were introduced to it and you've grown in it, tell us what you've been doing to make yourself, put yourself where you are.
Well, I mean, I started out a while ago, and it was just kind of a weekend thing, more of a hobby. And yeah, as the year progressed, I found a bit more interest in the sport, and I was able to watch a lot of these international tournaments online, which gave me the bigger image of exactly how far it can take the sport. So yeah, from there, just shooting week on after the next through the week, I just kept it shooting up, and now I'm getting involved in bigger tournaments. So yeah, it's really an eye opener for me, and yeah, I'm looking to take it forward to the next level.
And for you, just seeing how steady you have been over the years, what would you say you need to work on a little more personally to improve your game that much more?
Well, as far as training, right now I'm shooting 6 times a week, so that's actually really improving my my performance, I've noticed. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep pushing on with that, and hopefully the next upcoming tournaments I should be able to do a bit better than the last one. So yeah.
Bernard, can you answer that as well?
Yeah. I definitely think I need to work on my mental side of the sport a bit more. But just like Cameron, we picked up our training schedule as much as we are allowed with our lives, and trying to just get ourselves ready for the next year and keep going as far as we could get.
You're kind of decided one, but you've heard so much about this sport. Where have you? What have you seen in the competitions you've been in that could actually make you a better shooter? You've been to some tournaments. What have you seen that could actually make you a better person in this sport?
Sorry, Earl, you were breaking up a bit. Who was that directed to?
Jaden.
Jaden.
Yeah, the shoots that I've been to recently have been just, the scale of it has been just way different to the ones that I've been to previously. So what I'm trying to do is work up my confidence and just allow myself to just take it all in, and then realize that, well, this is what I'm doing now. And it's just gonna get bigger from here on out. So I'm just taking things that I can from the events that I'm been going to, and I'll just project myself forward from here on out and do my best.
Ross, how much do you challenge us to compete with each other on a weekly basis?
Sorry, Earl, could you repeat that?
How much do you challenge these guys to compete against each other on a weekly basis?
Probably twice a week is probably about the most they would do. Occasionally, they may cross paths again through the week when all of them show up at the same time. But because of training, and we're just starting to get evening sessions in because of the daylight savings now. So we're starting to get a bit more daylight. We are able to spend a bit more time at the range. So we do, or will have more training schedules Monday to Friday, as opposed to just main training schedules on the weekends. We're going to have to, over the next couple of weeks, pick up our session to get ready for the international coach when he gets here, because when he gets here, that's going to be sort of a all-out week of training. And that will run probably from a Saturday morning through to a Sunday afternoon on the following week. So it'll be 2 weekends and a whole week of training. So that will really make a difference with these guys' performance when they get to spend that sort of time with one of the international coaches.
Well, I guess he'll learn about the wind condition in Bermuda, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he certainly will. He certainly will. That's for sure. It certainly gave him a challenge on Sunday. They were actually out there shooting Sunday. Trina and Jaden were out shooting one of the Ice Nation shoots. So that was an eye opener for all of us.
But let me ask you guys, all three of you, when you have these challenging wins, what are some of the things, or how do you adjust to, what do you adjust in your game to ensure that you can maximize the points despite the conditions?
Well, I would say there's two things that we do. Typically, if we notice that there's whether maybe a crosswind or whatever direction it's coming of, if it's constant, typically what we would do is just adjust our sight, just so that we don't have to do any unnecessary aiming off. We would just aim straight on. And the other thing we would do is, it's not a consistent wind and it's just gusty, what we would tend to do is just to leave our sight set, and then from there we would just aim off depending on how the wind was feeling through our shot.
And that's consistent for everyone?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, for the most part, we pretty much do the same thing.
Well, Ross, can you explain how that is taught? Because clearly, teaching someone to, I'm picking up from Cameron, shooting off to actually hit the bullseye or to hit the target is something that has to be taught.
Yeah, and certain archers will do things differently as far as either aiming off or adjusting the sight. And when the wind is gusty like this, as Cameron just said, sometimes it's easier to aim off as opposed to adjusting your sight a lot. Jaden had a good shoot on Sunday in the wind, and one of the things that I was trying to teach him to do was to use the grass around the targets to also read the wind. You can sort of watch the gusty bits of wind coming through, and when you see the grass moving a lot, then the grass will sort of sit. And he's also got the windsock or the wind flag that has been using down the range as well. And that wind flag is a big help as far as direction of the wind and also wind speed. And you can judge the wind speed by how much the flag is moving from either a horizontal, just hanging straight down, to a vertical where it's blowing straight out, or even if it's really gusty like it was on Sunday, when the flag even goes above horizontal and starts to go up. And so, you got over a 25 knot wind when you got that situation where that flag goes above 90 degrees. So that's, two of the things that they're constantly using, the windsock and the grass. Even if you get trees around you, you can use the trees as well. And all that will help on, seeing how fast the winds are moving, and also keeping your eye on that wind flag to make sure the direction of it's not changing. So it's okay to, you could feel the wind and feel that it's gusty, but sometimes the direction of the wind would change, and you can't tell that by just feeling it. So you have to use your windsock or your wind flag to keep track of what direction it's coming from.
Take us through the last tournament you entered, and remembering how you were at your first international tournament. How have you grown in the sport?
Okay. Honestly, they both were exciting. I enjoyed the experience. Right, because there were two different levels. Each one felt new at the time, but each time it's a learning experience. You get more confidence for each one you do, and then you just step for the next tournament.
And Cameron, are you a slow starter, or do you like to make sure you get off to a good start and try to be as consistent as possible?
No, I definitely like to be. I like to be as consistent as possible and get off to a good start for sure. Because if you start off with a good start, typically at the end of a run, you're going to be kind of tired. So essentially, you want to get that good start just to compensate for whatever bad shots that you may have getting closer to the end of your scoring round. So I think that's important to look at it from that perspective.
Jaden, the experience you would have had in where were we? Colombia. Just being around under 23s, you were the youngest person there, but looking at how much they've grown in the sport, what were some of your takeaways from that event?
Some things that I took away is that due to the language barrier, I couldn't really communicate with other people. So then I started realizing that, okay, if I'm gonna do this professionally, I'm gonna start picking up on some languages. So doing a little bit of schoolwork when it comes to my Spanish, trying to get in some languages as much as I can, and I'm taking things in. So just in case, if say I need some help with my boat, I could ask somebody, even if they don't have my right of tongue exactly. If just in case, I'm shooting with somebody that speaks Spanish, I could go ahead and ask them a question, even if my main language is English. So I'll just be able to, just thanks to the languages that I could learn from these events, just to make sure that to keep communicating is how I probably continue in my sport.
And Ross, now that Jaden mentioned that, a lot of competitions, especially qualifiers, are in these Spanish-speaking places. And we experienced a lot of that challenge in Colombia ourselves. But getting these guys more comfortable once they're there, how is the organization in Bermuda working to ensure that every need is met when these guys do go to these competitions. I can hear
Yeah,
you laugh. Well, I can hear you.
it's definitely been it's definitely been a challenge. We've had some support though. We've made some good contacts since we've been there with some of the World Archery staff. And we know when we go to most of these tournaments, they're going to be there. Trina has really good communications with the World Archery staff. So we know when we get there, if it's something we really need to do, we have people that we can look out for. But, in the meantime, we're all trying to learn a bit of it. And we found out after, I won't call a name, but someone had done some really extensive Spanish lessons. But when we got there, they found out that when someone's actually speaking it, they're speaking it too fast to understand. So so we still got some work to do on that. So, yeah.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. Yep. But we're working on it. And we were lucky that when we had the technical committee meeting, the person hosted the meeting spoke both Spanish and English. So they were breaking it up, and any important points they were making sure that they were putting that to us in English as well. So
now,
we're
with the coach coming and the importance of the qualifier, the trying to qualify that next spot, in between the coach and him leaving, what are some of the things you guys are going to really have to concentrate on to make sure that when you go to that second qualifier to try and qualify the team, you're right on the money? Yeah.
Well, from that coach being here, we have journals, and one of the things that we're gonna we will be insisting that every day that journal is used while that coach is here. And if he makes major changes to anybody's form, we need to make sure that they stick to those drills that they're doing to make these changes to their form. I feel that most of our archers are got good form. That's one of the things we do spend quite a bit of time working on. But there's always new things happening with form and archery. So there may be something that the new coach, comes up with that we may, adapt. And if that's the case, we want to make sure we have plenty of time between the time he arrives or leaves here and the time we leave for our next trip. So, it'll be, like I say, a week of disciplined archery. And then it's just a matter of us, sticking to the routine once we finish that, whether we have changes, whether we don't have changes, whether we're just increasing our number of errors, if it's physical stuff, whatever it is, we will make sure that's in our journals, and that we're gonna take that and make sure they stick to that until we get to the next event. And we're learning every time we go. We're watching the other teams. We're constantly watching the coaches while they're shooting. I'm kind of talking to the other coaches in the background. So, we're making good communications. We're making good progress. I'm really pleased with the progress that we made while we were in Puerto Rico, and we turned some heads. So we were happy with that.
When you were first started this sport, you were taking it up as just for fun, but now going international. What would you tell a friend, to get involved in the sport?
I would say that it's a sport that's requiring a lot of focus, and I think you can learn a lot from that. The fact that you need to be super consistent with your shots.
Yeah.
And it just makes for a challenge, and I think that's something that you want to keep going with in a sport. So that's what I would say on that note. And it's super addicting.
What about you, Bernard? Yeah.
Well, I'll say, first off, they'll have to enjoy it. It doesn't make sense getting into it if you're not going to have fun with it. And then, like Cameron said, you get really focused. You have to keep that focus, and it does become a bit addictive. After a while, you get that itch to hit that center as much as possible. Okay.
For people to come and
I
try
think we
that.
lost you, Earl. Think we lost you, Earl. Your picture's going.
Okay.
Okay,
Can you hear me now?
yeah, you're back. Sorry.
You know, a lot of people were coming down and using the point artery. Back to the pandemic and all. Will the facility be open again for people to come down and buy a lot and see if they can benefit in this sport?
I believe I heard that you were asking if Go Point was going to be up and running for these. Yeah, we've once the weather improves, we've had some bad weekends, and it looks like we've got another one coming ahead of us. So we're not being able to really, have a full weekend yet. The weather hasn't been on our side. We have been Saturdays, if it's been bad weather, we've been going over to the youth center gym to train inside. And we're looking at other options just to make sure that we, when we do have bad weather, we can still do something. So we still there, Earl?
Yeah, he's coming back.
There he is.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Sorry,
Yep.
yeah. We lost your picture, but I just heard you there. Yeah. As I was saying, once the weather breaks, I think we'll start getting, some new faces out again. We've had a couple out. It's almost every weekend we get a new face out. So it's just a matter of trying to get some people that are more committed, that have that time to put in. We're especially looking for females. We're also now looking towards putting a compound division together for shooting compound archery. We have 2 compound archers right now that are shooting, and we're looking to try and put a whole compound team together as well. We're finding from doing these world archery matches that they both have, the Olympic recurve, which is what everybody here is doing. But they also have a division for compound shooting as well. So we're looking at trying to get a good compound program going as well. And that's one of the things that Coach Phil is going to be doing when he comes down, is working with both sports, so both disciplines of the sport. So we will be having Olympic recurve training, and if we get a couple of the compound shooters out, we'll also get some compound training done as well.
Right. I'm glad I see Trina there because, and you mentioned that you want to get more females involved. Trina, getting young ladies involved in the sport and you being like a god of sorts, how important is it for females to get involved in the sport because they have to come to international standards?
I believe I might have heard that question, Earl. It was a little broken up, but as Ross mentioned, we do have limited females at this time that are ready for competition level. So right now in our program, we have about 6 females. And again, with the sport of archery, it is a discipline. It's not only physical, but it's majority mental. And it's getting people feeling comfortable, number one, with the equipment. And when you look at a recurve bow versus a compound bow, when someone looks at a compound bow, immediately there's a different thought about it because it's all these pulleys and the strings, and people become a little bit intimidated with that bow and will easily move towards the recurve, and they will start using that. And for females, again, we're worried about ourselves being hit by something. And I can tell you, I've been hit plenty of times, not only with the recurve, but with the compound bow. I have to tell you that story another day. But when the women do get comfortable with it, then, and no disrespect to my males that are present, we are a little bit more engaged mentally than they are. And so we will concentrate a little bit more on that and really start to get into that groove. And so the younger we start them off, I find the better it is. And for myself, I started archery at an older age. I wish it was around when I was in school, but it has no age limit. That's one of the beauties about archery. There's no age limit. So I can compete at my tender age and continue to compete and even go to the Olympics if that's my aspiration. But I do the sport not only just to be physically active, but as one of the coaches to be able to coach my females, but also my males, and know exactly what they're experiencing when they're out there in the wind or they're under the pressures of competition. So you know how to have that dialogue with them so that they feel comfortable and confident to progress forward. But it's taken some time with the females, but we're getting there. We're getting there.
Yeah. Ross, what is the requirement for that team spot?
We are looking at going, like I say, the next big tournament we'll got is July in Colombia, but September, Santo Domingo is the next qualifier for CAC. And basically we need to put a good performance in as we did on this trip. There were 6 teams there. There were only 4 spots and we finished 5th there, but it was close. The thing that we have now, we've got another chance to get a qualifying spot. And from the competition that we see that's going to be in DR, we stand a good chance of getting it.
Okay.
You know, the other teams that weren't there are the smaller countries that are like us. They're in that developmental stage. So, you know, we stand a good chance of getting that spot in DR.
Okay. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get back with you guys because, you know, the internet has been buffering this evening. I think I want to get more and give people more information on what you guys are able to do and how people could get involved. So as we get closer to the coach coming, or even when the coach is here, I'll bring you guys back on and then we can have another in-depth chat.
Okay, appreciate it.
Yep.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Well, thank you very much. Everybody enjoy your evening.
You as well.
Thanks, you as well.
Okay.
Thanks. Take care.
All right.
Yeah.